That's why this scene also, this, oh wait. This scene, the light of Laputa returns to the stone. Now look at Sheeta's clothes. It's baggy, and that's intentional. When the stone sparkles, her clothes flap. Then if you look carefully, you can see her upper arms to shoulders, and she might be naked because you don't see her wearing underwear. You can't see it clearly, but you can catch glimpses of her body. But the audience understands that's because of the energy released from the stone. But if that's the truth, there's no need to dress her in such fluffy clothes with open sleeves that flap so easily. The only reason for doing this is to show her clothes flapping to the audience. But at the same time, he doesn't want them to think this is an erotic scene, although he wants them to get excited. That's why he chooses to make this type of erotic depiction in a suspenseful scene like this one. For example, the movie starts with a scene where an aircraft is flying. Then the Dola family attacks it. Sheeta notices they intruded into the aircraft and escapes out a window. But when she goes outside, a strong wind lifts up her skirt all the way up to her thighs. But this is also a serious scene where her life is at stake, so it doesn't seem like an erotic scene. Miyazaki always puts in scenes like this in his movies, a scene where a girl's skirt flips up to her thighs, but those scenes make us feel guilty for thinking, oh, I can almost see her underwear. But it's us who are perverted for having such shameful ideas. The guilt is the lust. I know one guy who does something similar, Steven Spielberg. When Spielberg made Jaws, he showed so many scenes where the shark bites off people's legs. He visualized those legs bleeding or missing to indicate that the shark attacked the victims. Then, in one middle scene in the movie, the main character, Chief Brody's youngest son, is playing at a beach, and the shark appears. Brody sees it and dashes to the beach. Then he finds his son on the sand unconscious. After that, a scene shows the son being dragged on the sand, but the camera doesn't show his legs. That's nasty. Instead, the screen shows the small son's face at first, and gradually, as the boy gets dragged, the belly button, the thighs, and finally, the unharmed legs. What it does is, it makes the audience anticipate and fear at the same time. They imagine, does the boy have his legs or no? Why is the boy unconscious? Why is Chief Brody's face all pale? Why are people surrounding the boy doing nothing but standing? When the child is being dragged, the audience is possessed by contradictory emotions of hoping that the legs are still there and slightly expecting the guilty pleasure of seeing the legs bitten off. Spielberg knew this guilt creates fear. When we see horror movies, what's best is to see something scary happen. We unconsciously hope to encounter fear. If nothing happens after scary events are indicated, we feel relieved, but we still unconsciously hope that the main characters in the movie have scary experiences. That's how our guilt creates a sense of fear. Similarly, Miyazaki sets up a premise by saying, these aren't erotic scenes. Then he takes advantage of our minds that still see eroticism from those scenes. That's how he creates erotic scenes. That's why, well, in a scene like this, for example, here, or here, all of these erotic depictions are done in suspenseful scenes. And I mean, this, well, someone commented on the screen. Compared to this early stage of the movie where Pazu meets Sheeta, her breasts here have gotten unmistakably bigger. You see? They're bigger. Everything happens in 2 to 3 days, so it's not like, yeah, girls grow fast. Miyazaki just had to draw her like this because at this point, Sheeta has started taking advantage of her femininity. And it's not just about sex appeal. What I want to say is that Miyazaki is a type of creator who also depicts, how should I say, the power of women. So, this is a scene where Sheeta cooks inside the kitchen of the tiger moth. Do you remember the scene? Sheeta is ordered to work in the kitchen of the tiger moth. Then, Dola's sons find her in the kitchen and find her cute as soon as they see her. Then, one after another they go, "Can I do something to help?" As a result, Sheeta bosses everyone around. So, it's that scene. Not only the sons, but also other minor characters are all helping her. But what's important here is to wonder, what was Sheeta thinking when these minor characters started helping her in the kitchen? Because Miyazaki doesn't show Sheeta's face in this scene. On the other hand, just think, what if this was a regular anime? I'm pretty sure a regular anime would show the girl's face and make her say, "My bad. Oh, because people offered to help me. So the character shows her emotion. Or it would include a dialogue to show how the girl has no intention to take advantage of others because she's simple. That's the normal way to make anime, but Miyazaki does neither of that. He doesn't do that because he thinks that's what Tezuka would do. It's another way of saying normal, so no good. Showing only Sheeta's back is the best way. By seeing only her back, we can still tell that Sheeta knows that she's popular among the guys inside the ship. That's why she orders them one after another to help. But she doesn't order Pazu because she's in love with him. That means Sheeta doesn't use a guy she loves, but she will boss those who have a crush on her, which she doesn't care about. That's what Miyazaki really thinks. It's manifested more obviously in the Castle of Cagliostro, where Count Cagliostro grabs Clarice by her chin and says, "Have you already learned how to control men? I guess it runs in your blood." We see that and may think like, "No, Count Cagliostro, you misunderstand her. Clarice is not that kind of girl." But as we see Clarice not denying what he says for a split second, we also think, wait, this is not the first time? There is this powerful Clarice in the beginning of the movie where she steals a car and drives it like a maniac. And halfway through, another Clarice who only cries in front of Lupin from the middle. Those images just don't match. It means that Clarice becomes a weak girl after she meets Lupin. Before that, she was a strong girl. And when Lupin is about to leave, she doesn't say, "Quit thieving and live with me." Instead, she says, "I'll join you and steal too." Like that, she's, in a way, a smart girl. I'm not making an assertion. However, by not showing her face, but only her back in this scene, I think Miyazaki is trying to say women are powerful. People often discuss how Dola is smart and powerful. But then, Dola herself says, "Oh, Sheeta, that girl will become like me in the future." It's not so obviously depicted because the boys who watch the movie have to fall in love with her. But he still drew her back to make sure whoever sees it gets the hint.